2024 has been a crazy year for Bitcoin mining stocks. We're up, then we're down, we're ripping one day, and then we're tanking the next. Investors are feeling excited and hopeful one week, and then just completely disparaged the next. It's been rough. And I think that unfortunately at this point in the year, many of us can agree that despair is the primary emotion that many of us may be feeling. And I'm sure a lot of you, like myself at points, have been thinking, is it game over for Bitcoin mining stocks? Is my capital better put to use elsewhere? Should I sell my Bitcoin mining positions and buy other stocks, buy more hyper-growth revolutionary names? And I will say, before I answer that question, that if you're only invested in Bitcoin mining stocks or any stock, this goes for any stock, you should never just invest in one thing or one sector, regardless of how bullish you may be on that stock or that sector or that asset, even if it's a single cryptocurrency. Always diversify. So I want to kick off this video by saying diversify your portfolio. I know many investors and Bitcoin miners love Bitcoin miners. And I will admit that that's how I was in the real early days of my investing career as well. I was only Riot in my portfolio for quite a while. And that did me well, and you can do well. But as far as longevity is concerned, as far as what you want to, how you should grow as an investor or a trader, diversification is key, and you should always diversify. So just want to give that little PSA right there. But back to Bitcoin miners specifically, I don't think the game's over. And I'm sure that's clear. You guys know I wouldn't post a video just saying it's game over, just sell all your Riot, sell all your Maro, whatever. It's clearly, in my opinion, always just my opinion, you know the drill, it's not game over for Bitcoin mining stocks. Okay? I still think that Bitcoin has an amazing year ahead of it. Right now, if I'm being completely honest, it doesn't look good. It's May 11th on the day of recording. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But Bitcoin, not looking good in the short term. I still think that we see new all-time highs by the end of the year, and honestly by the end of the summer. I'm setting July 31st as the target date at which we're going to be discussing Bitcoin, Riot, and Mara on the charts. And yeah, game ain't over. So we're going to keep it short and sweet today, you guys. No news, no technicals. The Bitcoin halving happened. If you haven't watched my recent videos, my thoughts on the Bitcoin halving are, yes, it will hurt the revenue of miners if the price of Bitcoin stagnates or falls. But because I'm bullish on the price of Bitcoin and think the price of Bitcoin is going to appreciate significantly, I do think the miners catch up. Mara also just released a subpar earnings report. It wasn't terrible, wasn't good. So there are some fundamental hurdles that we're going to need to jump through. But ultimately, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, it's very likely that the price of Bitcoin miners is going to follow suit. And that is what I'm personally betting on. Once again, just my opinion. Could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And then before we dive into the charts, of course, we got to kick it off with BTC. And then we'll take a look at both Riot and Mara after the king. If you guys want my daily opinions on Bitcoin miners, on not only the names here, but all the other names in my portfolio, okay? This is actually the second newsletter I write every day. I call this price targets. The first one is trade alerts, which looks just like this, okay? I'm not going to scroll down any further because that's where all of my options positions are and that's where our daily trades are. But if you guys want to join Waves Capital, if you want to become a member of the team, that's going to be the first link in, the description of this video. Okay, my complete portfolio and daily trade alerts and email newsletters, exactly as it states here. You get everything that this box entails for 15 bucks a month, 40 bucks for every 3 months. It's completely up to you, but it's been a good year so far. We actually have a stock by the name of Philip Morris that, as most of the market has been tanking this past week, Philip Morris has been printing for us over Waves Capital. We have call options on the name, doing great, and I'm really excited for what's ahead. So again, you guys, diversification is key. If you want to know how I'm trading every single day and want these daily trade alerts and price targets newsletters in your inbox every day, every trading day, work hard on them. Appreciate it if you join. And I really do my best to provide you guys as much value as I can. Once again, first link in the description. Appreciate it if you do sign up. Welcome to the team if so. But let's get into Bitcoin. God, frog in me throat. Bitcoin is, as I alluded to in the beginning, not looking good in the short term. Okay, so if we're looking at 1D candles right now, 1 day candles. RSI not looking good, below the exponential moving average. The blue line where my cursor is hovering is below the white line. That means it's below its EMA. That's not good. We're also in a series of lower highs and lower lows following, I talked about this in my last Bitcoin video. I really don't, or actually I discussed it in my render video actually. I don't like seeing an asset hug a line of broken resistance like this, okay? Typically, what you want to see in a continuation of a rally is once we get a break of a line of resistance, you want to see a continuation, maybe a one-day pullback, and then a continuation to the upside. If we get a break, we come down and retest that broken resistance as new support and then continue to hug that line of support lower. That's typically a sign, or from, I would say, 80 out of 100 times, 8 out of 10 times, that leads to more downside. Okay, you don't want to see a line of new support being hugged like this because in my experience, the far majority of the time, it points to more downside in the short to medium term. Okay, so I'm guessing that's what we get. We tried to get a rally. We tried to get a break back above into this like inverse head and shoulders range that I was hoping was going to play out. That's been our rule. And I will, to be completely honest, say that in the short term, I do think Bitcoin probably falls. I think that we probably come down to 52,500 or 53K. We'll just call it 53K. That's where I would personally buy just to kind of front run the crowd who's going to hop in around 52, 52.5. I do think that $53,000 is a likely scenario. That'd be, you know, like a 13, 14% pullback from here, from current levels at 61K to retest the prior macro high that has yet to be retested. And to be honest, it wouldn't be bad if we were to come down and retest that, because then we could check off that box and not have to worry about it moving forward. We can just get that out of the way and then focus on the road ahead into the summer. Where do I think we're going into the summer? In the summer, once again, I set July 31st as kind of my target date or time horizon for all three of the names that we're discussing today. My price target for the summer, I guess that's late summer, not really the end of the summer. My price target for, I didn't have that. That's close enough. Where the heck is it? July 31st. I guess I didn't have it, or I moved it. Okay, August 1st, close enough, is going to be the line of resistance on Bitcoin's massive megaphone channel. Okay, I do think that this will absolutely come into play on the next wave up for Bitcoin. I do think that if we test this, again, you can draw this. There's a couple of this is an absolute line of resistance. I would say this right here is the conservative line of resistance, using multiple touch points, which I actually feel safer doing. So we'll just start with that. So I'll make this, do the classic waves color coordination, make that blue, and then, or cyan, I guess. That would lead to, by August 1st, that would result in a Bitcoin that's just above $80,000. Okay, so I do think this will come into play. This line of conservative resistance, again, multiple touch points here, will come into play. Maybe we pull back around 80, 81,000, come down a little bit. Maybe you retest this prior high around 74K, and then rally up to the line of absolute resistance by the end of the summer. You know, mid-September. Let's just say it happens by mid-September. That would take us up to $88,000. If we break above this, then we're in true blue sky territory. And you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, let's focus on Riot and Mara. So with that in mind, again, 80K Bitcoin by August 1st. That's my theory. And again, this is just my theory. Bitcoin could be at 30K August 1st. You know, Black Swan, who knows? Who knows what happens? This is my theory. This is what I think. And always know, you guys, my money's where my mouth is. So Riot, again, Riot looking straight up awful in the short term. This does not look good. I will just give a very quick short-term analysis for those of you who are watching on like May 11th, around Mother's Day weekend, for the week ahead. I think the Riot does move up to test this line of short-term resistance. Let's go. Actually, let's zoom in a lot here. I do think that Riot rallies up to this line of resistance in the week ahead. That'll take us up, you know, 7%. Obviously dependent upon what day or how long it takes to test this trend line. If we test it by the end of the week, we'd pretty much just go flat. So that's also possible. We come down, come up, test it by the end of the week, we're right where we started. So that would be unfortunate. Again, if Bitcoin falls, that's probably the likelier scenario. But ultimately, in the longer term, let's just get rid of these trend lines right now because they're distracting. Let's Let's go to the daily candles, and I will just say that ultimately, I do think that in the case that Bitcoin climbs to $80,000 by August 1st, by late July, as I expect it to, I think that Riot can climb up to, let's get an arrow just for aesthetic purposes. I do think that Riot can climb up to this line of resistance, to testing this line of resistance, which if we test it on August 1st, on July 31st, would take us up to about $16.50. Okay? If we break above this line of resistance, that's when things get exciting. That would probably require Bitcoin to break above 80, 90. Triple digits, if we see, six-figure Bitcoin. I can definitely picture Riot breaking well above this and getting into the mid to high 20s if we see $100,000 plus BTC. But once again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's close it out with Mara. I do think Mara looks much better from a technical perspective. I will say that in the short term, although they did really have a steep sell-off following their earnings report against subpar, not terrible, definitely not good. We're still maintaining this short-term ascending channel, okay, which I like to see. Higher highs, higher lows, a very clean, very nice and perpendicular channel, very pleasant to look at. If Bitcoin does rally in the week ahead, which is always possible, it's Bitcoin, who knows? It's the king of bull traps and bear traps. That's exactly what I said in this newsletter. Bitcoin is the king of bull traps and bear traps. We could rally. The technicals could head fake you. It's happened many times before. It could happen. If Bitcoin does rally, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Mara, say it happens by the end of May, by the end of the month, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Mara rally, 34, 33, 34% by the end of May to test the top line of resistance on this shorter term ascending channel. Same thing here goes, or similar for Mara. Mara, again, is a lot more technically appealing than Riot. And I will say that if Mara rallies 120%, I do think Riot will probably break that line of resistance we just looked at, and really kind of just track Mara. Maybe slightly underperform Mara, but track it for the most part. And I will say, I still favor Riot. I still like Riot more as an investment. I know many of you like Mara. I just don't. I don't like the feeling that I've gotten from Mara for actually many years, and I won't elaborate on that. If you like Mara, that's great. To each their own. Riot's my play. I'm just going to stick with Riot. But if you like Mara, that's great because it's looking great on the charts. And it's actually, from a technical perspective, a lot more appealing of an investment. And hey, they just got announced that they were going to be included into the S&P 600. Good news for Mara. Good news for the entire Bitcoin mining sector. Rising tide lifts all ships. But Mara, using this conservative line of resistance, this is what I just call it around waves cap, and in my newsletters, I call this line absolute resistance, one touch point. This line right here, conservative resistance using more than one touch point, which I always, in my personal portfolio, I always trade on, and I always try to preach that at waves cap. Okay, so if all goes accordingly, if all goes smooth, if all goes according to plan, as I just said, then by the end of July, by August 1st, I do think that Mara could over double from current levels, $1 20% up to about $38. And again, you guys keep in mind, maybe Bitcoin rips. What if Bitcoin rips to 80K by June 1st? Then that would lead to, let's just go to June. We'll go to June 11th because I don't want to move it over. That would take us up 110%. Okay, so if that happens, then that would lead to a $36 Mara by mid-June. Okay, it's always dependent upon when the trend line is hit. But ultimately, these trend lines are my targets. These are just stick figures. But as I've said many times before, if you don't believe in the efficacy or validity of stick figure trend lines, then you simply haven't been trading long enough. I've tried every indicator, not everyone, but definitely every single semi-popular, definitely popular indicator in the book over the past 10 years. In the end, stick figure trend lines win the far majority of the time and outperform all of those in my experience. Okay, so that's that, you guys. Again, if you want to join Waves Capital, it's the first link in the description. I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. And lastly, I will just shout out this new product that I'm actually going to plan on shouting out today. This has been just a little side project, a little passion project of mine for the past couple of months, and I finally have these on Amazon Prime. If you guys surf, then this pretty much just gets the wax off of your surfboards. I was looking for a product that did this and didn't find one. I was like, well, I'm for sure just going to make that and design this. And I just like doing that shit. So I'll link that in the description as well. If you guys actually buy one of these and review it and send me a picture of your review on Instagram, I will Venmo or PayPal you the cost of the product. Okay, so just shouting that out now. Surf Scrape. If you want to just support, that's awesome. If you surf and actually need one of these, even better. But I appreciate you guys watching. I'm excited for what the future has in store for us, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.